All right, hello everybody. Welcome to Endgame Sensei. The idea of the show is that our friend Kostya, Kavutskiy, and maybe also Mr. Pruess are going to go off on a journey to become grandmasters. It's a great journey. I'm sad that I'm already a grandmaster because my life has little meaning at this point other than maybe becoming a senior champion in the world of chess. And my intuition, and this show will help clarify whether my intuition is true or not, is that Kostya's main weakness is the ending, and that these exercises that I have for both players will help develop Kostya. And soon he's going to be playing. I guess that's our assumption. Anyway, I actually signed up for a tournament today for Memorial Day. It's a big cherry blossom open 9-round GM IM norm event. So that's not that far. That's less than 2 months away.
Wow.
Okay, so while I'm chatting a little bit, let me just say it is black to move, and the rules of engagement are as follows. Both David and Kostya will be allowed to think about it right now. And what they'll try to do is give me a numerical assessment of who they think is better. And they're going to say something ridiculous in computer form like plus 1.2 or whatever you want to say, minus 1.7. And then whoever likes whatever side more, I'm going to give them that side, if that makes sense. Right? So, if David likes white and Kostya likes black, then I'm going to give David white. And they'll have a chance to, prove whatever they think of the position. And I just want to stress with most of these positions I'm giving, it's not like there's going to be some hammer move on the first move. There's definitely better moves and worse moves. But as you can see here, like even here, it's not like there's one best move for black. Okay, so what we're going to do, let me just explain it, is in a couple minutes after they've had some time to think, I have the Leprechaun Chess.com power to assign them the game, and they'll just be forced to play it. They will then either go silent. They'll go silent. We'll be able to see their screen, but they'll go silent. They won't hear me speaking to you all, and we'll be able to talk about it. And in fact, this is what we're going to do right now. While we're there thinking, I'm glad I remember this. We're going to do a poll. And how do I? Oh man, open a setup menu to create a poll. Oh, how do I do the poll, man?
Slash poll.
Slash poll.
Enter. Enter.
And then enter. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Great. Who is better? Question mark. Then we're going to say black. We're going to say equal. And we're just going to say white. And we're going to say 5 minutes, sure. And even in the beginning of the game, it'd be 5 minutes. Now, one thing I want to stress with this chess.com Leprechaun power is that when the first move, there's going to be a little, if you don't move fast enough, the game aborts. So I think you have about a minute to move or else chess.com aborts you. So that's one mild thing you should be aware of. But you guys both have a chance to think about what you would do if you were black. Okay, you guys, I'm going to give you, it's now 1:07 my time, 10:07 yours. I'm going to give you 2 minutes, and then I just want, in that time, I want you to formulate your opinion of black to move and what the evaluation is. And then we'll just use honor system, keep that, whatever number you got in your mind. And then, both will reveal, and that'll decide who is black and who is white. And then, of course, after this is all done, we're going to come back and look at the moves, talk about it, and also go over the original game. It's a famous game here. I don't know how,
Between Jesse and I am Jamil?
I am Jamil is a student of mine, and we practiced this earlier today. So that's why I have it set to...
I see, but it's not originally your game.
That's right. All right, one more minute, guys, and then we're going to reveal what... You guys will reveal what you think and who is better and why. I get to vote myself.
And then Jesse, how are we're gonna play both sides of the position?
No, just one side. Just so that you have a good quality time with it. Yeah. I think actually the time control, I'm thinking to make it very modern. So it'll be like as if you're in a real endgame situation and so you can have 5 minutes but 30 seconds delay. Right?
Great.
Because that's the way endgames are played today. Right? It's 5.
That's true.
You get 30 seconds, and usually by the time you hit the ending, no one has any time left. Okay, let's go first with David. What is your evaluation, buddy?
Negative 0.57.
Okay, good. And Kostya?
Wait, I have another question. How are we choosing who gets to play which side?
Don't gamify this, buddy. Just tell me what your evaluation is, and then I'll tell you which side. Just tell me your honest answer. That's all.
Well, I think black is better. I would take black.
So minus what?
Let's see.
It's just an intuitive thing, Kostya. It's not like,
Yeah. Okay, I would say about minus. I would say I'll take 0.6 for black.
Just above David. You were gamifying that, buddy. Okay. So interestingly, in the poll, we had white being a little bit better. I guess it's now equal. I'll talk about what I think. I don't want to influence you guys. I studied this a bit, and I'll talk about what I think the evaluation is, and I'm open to change my mind. I have not looked at this with a computer. I've just analyzed this the old-fashioned way. All right, you guys. So here we go, and I'm going to make you all play now. Hopefully I can get this right with my magical leprechaun.
So we can leave the audio now?
Don't leave quite yet.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. And so
Let's get the ready.
David is going to be white. By the way, David, are you in live chess? And you're D Pruess in live chess?
I'm in live chess, yeah, D Pruess.
And then we're going to hello Kostya. And then we're going to say 5:30 unrated. Thank you very much. And then hopefully this is going to work. Boom. All right.
I've got
they
white.
Are playing. You guys can now leave.
All right.
All right. So there you guys see it. There is the board. And remember, Kostya, you have a minute to play. Right. They are thinking about it. We have the final poll. At the final poll, maybe people were influenced by David and Kostya, but the final poll was black being better. And interestingly, we have F6 92 on the board. It's amazing, actually. F6 was not the move played. Yeah, it's I thought that F6 was actually the correct decision. Maybe it isn't. Maybe F6 is not the correct decision. I thought it was the correct decision, and then in my practice game with my student, Jamil, he also played F6. I assumed that the reason Spassky was black against Larsen in this position, that the reason he played F6 was to avoid rook cd1. Maybe, though, it was to avoid knight d2, as in this position. Maybe. There's real question marks here. I think knight d2 might actually be a very good move. And now I assume David wants... Oh, I thought he could have played rook cd1. No, of course, what am I saying? No, can't play rook cd1. Excuse me. So knight d2 is problematic. I thought in the practice game I had with Jamil, it went a little... These guys, you know what they're doing? They're playing too fast. Because right there, black could have played, at least thought about c4 in that position. It's one of the things about endgame play nowadays too is since you it feels like you have no time, but in fact 30 seconds is loads of time. Just loads of time. As you can see, Pruess has more than 5 minutes here. You know, my assessment, I'll just say it, was that black was slightly better. And in the game, black did not play f6, but I thought after f6, black was going to be better. Well, I'll show you what happened in the game. Very interesting game as well. And maybe, though, I'm wrong. Like, maybe black is, in fact, much better. And that's kind of a question, you know, that we will address maybe in the post-mortem. David's thinking about crazy stuff like knight b3 to induce c4. And, you know, I can see, one cool thing about playing chess online is I can go back and see, we can go back and see how long each player thought. And this is the first real thing that David has here. Kostya only spent 10 seconds on knight d6. Well, I think maybe that's a big miss because c4 is such a big part of black's plan because, you know, we have him, the reason he has the advantage, he's got the jump on the queenside to make the pass cool. And it's so hard for white to get his kingside majority moving. That's right, 3 senseis in one show. Yeah, Dora, that's mostly true, and it's true here too. And you can think of it in terms of just time, like the way in the opening one side has more development. Here we can say that black just has more development at the beginning of the position. Pruess, of course, is notorious for time pressure, but you know, both these players, myself included, need to learn to play with a 30-second increment. The thing with a 30-second increment is you can play forever on that thing. You will never lose. You will never lose on time with a 30-second increment. And yeah, part of the endgame sensei is to learn. At least to my mind, that's what the endgame sensei, part of what the endgame sensei is about, to learn to play with the increment. Yeah, and we'll see Charlie Silva at the end how Spassky and Larsen played the position. Really beautiful game, though I'm sure also, you know, with mistakes, as I think in this game too, both sides have already made some mistakes. Yeah. David's really tanking here. If he just wanted to make a move, you could play something like King E2. That doesn't look right, Rook C3. In fact, I'm gonna say that's a bad move. The only way it wouldn't be a bad move is if black, if something is wrong with C4. And it really doesn't seem like anything is wrong with C4. Levy asks, what is this? This is called Endgame Sensei. This is a new show that we're trying to start. Basically, two things. One, a self-serving thing on my part, where I have recently studied a lot of interesting endgames by Shereshevsky in this book, Endgame Strategy. This is one of them. And two, as a coach, my intuition is that Kostya's weakest phase of the game is the ending. So this is hopefully to give him some practice with the ending. And he's, of course, going to be playing for the GM title very soon. So that is what the show is about. And Pruess, of course, is into this experience and could, you know, he's kind of down on himself in terms of making the GM title, but there's no reason he couldn't do it if he got excited about it. All right. Cool, Levy. Yeah, I think it'll be fun. Yeah. C4. All right. Pruess is in the. And let me just say, this is incorrect. This is this is known bad endgame strategy, because what White is doing is he is playing on Black's stronger side, and when you play on your opponent's stronger side, all you are doing is helping him create a passed pawn. It's a very useful concept because I think Pruess understands in the middle game that you don't want to play on your opponent's strong side. The same thing in the end game, though. Do not play on the dude's strong side, just helping him. And here Kostya has two delicious opportunities. One, King d5, and the other just cb, because the in the resulting knight endgame, which I think is forced, Black's king is simply much faster to get over there, and Kostya goes for it immediately. He's going to be much, much faster. Whoa, whoa, Pruess! Pruess! Oh, okay, okay, what am I saying? It's okay. It's okay. Oh. Kostya needs, let me just say this, they're both good options. Kostya really needs a good move here to justify CB, because King d5 was such a powerful move to holding the other moves in reserve. And I am not sure, actually, the more I look at it, like, if this was correct. Probably is. I mean, well, here's the problem. If you play rook c8, he can snip, snip, and then play knight c5 check. So CB is, the more we're looking at it, does not seem correct. And if knight c, maybe knight c4, maybe knight c4. But the problem could be on knight c4, ba, rook takes c4, cb, rook b4, and that rook endgame looks, well, it might still be problematic. It might still be problematic for White. Knight c4, though, is very simple. You just play knight c5, thank you very much, king d5, knight c7, knight a6, excuse me. And maybe, though, it could go knight c4, knight c5, king d6, knight a6, rook a8. I don't know about this, because then he's got rook d3 too. That still might work. It's more complicated than we wanted. Yeah, Kostya needs a good move here. That doesn't look right, Kostya. Dang, that doesn't look right, boss. All right, I mean, maybe, bro, but that doesn't look good. That doesn't look right. So, Pruess has got 3 minutes, and let's just say rook c7's a thought. It's scary as all get out because knight c4 will come. He's got knight a5, which kind of sort of just stops Black in his tracks. And there might be some way to make knight d4 work. Knight a5 looks sensible because you're stopping knight c4. You know, I think it's kind of an interesting thing where how did I know? How did I know that Kostya needs work on his endgame? How did I know this as a player, as a coach? I'd seen it a couple times in some of his positions, and yeah, this thing too. Just, he didn't think in the right places, and you know he's allowing all kinds of stuff. Yeah, 95 looks good. 95 looks. It's at the very least a sensible move to make here. Pruess is a maximalist though, and he'll be looking at the wild stuff like Rook C7. The problem is though, if I win the A pawn, and Black wins the A pawn, those connected pass pawns are too much. Just way too much. With me and Pruess close to the same rating. Yeah. You know, Pruess, like let's say 2000, I think it was about 2002 to somewhere in there, he won the Sanford Fellowship, and I know, I mean at that point it seemed like he was gonna start crushing everybody on the face of the earth, and you know, yeah, and I think he had several strong tournaments. And I think he does have all the GM norms, and his rating has just collapsed at the moment. So the question is really a psychological thing of can dude, you know, get it back up there. And honestly, like Knight A5, bro. Maybe the idea of Kostya's got is if Knight A5, then Rook C8. It's a thought. I don't know about that one, buddy. So let's say the obvious. You were inviting King D5, which white wants to do anyway. Black wants to do anyway, excuse me. I think you can, it doesn't matter. You can have the norm for forever. And I don't think it goes away. I've never heard of it going away, but when it comes to anything bureaucratic, I'm not the guy to ask. I didn't understand why Kostya didn't play King D5. Oh, buddy. Oh, dang. And then Pruess has got Knight B4, Knight C2, holding it down, and then it might be Pruess is the one who's knocking here. King D7 was also just a strange move. All right, the game is not over, my friends. This is still, Kostya still might be the one knocking here. Knight C2, King A5, and then we can imagine E4, King A4, F4, Knight takes A3, Knight takes, King takes, E5, and we got ourselves a mess. Black Queen's a check, but then it's a draw. Oh man, I don't know, Phyllis. This is the way it's looking. E4, no E4. Oh, man, see, you can't actually. If you play E4, there's excuse me, King B6, Knight C2, King A5. We'd like to play E4, but then maybe Knight D2, Knight takes E4 is gonna happen. It's King E2. Oh, here we go. All right, let's go. King A5, E4. What are we doing, Bruce? You didn't want to play Knight C2, buddy? All right, here's my word of the wise about this ending. You want to ask yourself who's winning in a knight endgame. Lift the knights off the board and ask, is the king and pawn endgame winning? And in general here, we would say that black is winning this thing because of the outside pass pawn. Of course, the knights make it super complicated. Super complicated. Yeah, this thing is really complicated now. These night end games are some of the most complicated things I've ever seen. Correct play might even be something like King C5, Knight A6, King B6, Knight B4. But Kostya's going for it, for the crowd's enjoyment. He's going for the crowd. And now Knight C6. Oh man. All right, here we go. Very spicy. Now, can Kostya force a draw with B4? Is that the insane thing to ask? Maybe. Kostya says, no draw, buddy. The problem with your king, Kostya, is now you're cut off and he's going to start pushing his pawns, dog. He's going to start pushing his pawns, man. Okay, it's still a very violent situation. If E4, Knight E5, maybe... Oh, man, it's going to get really violent, my friends. It's going to get really violent. All right, can Kostya play Knight E5 to try to break the blockade? Honestly, even then, Knight B4 by white. I mean, white is the one who's knocking now. Notice how the times, they get 30 seconds to move, so they have plenty of time to move. Oh, man. Kostya's in a little deep here, man. He's got himself in deep at the moment. Oh, man. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. All right, so Pruess has a couple options. There's Knight E5 and also Knight B4. All right, here goes Knight B4. Knight E5 was just too complicated. Also, it's just so nice that the black king is shut out. And white has a simple idea of playing F4. Oh. Maybe H5, it's a really weird move, but the idea would be to intend, the black knight needs to create drama over there and not get shoved around. So maybe H5, G3, Knight G6? I don't know. I don't know about that. Maybe G5? It's a funny position because normally with the outside pass pawn you would like black, but his king is just worse than our king. All right, here we go. Now, intuition says F4 here. That's what the intuition says, but it's going to be hectic. He also has Knight D3. You could play Knight D3 in this position. Knight D3 looks like just a good move. Knight d3 really seems like the right thing to do. Because then you have all kinds of nasty knight c5 stuffs if you need it, and you're getting ready to play f4. Well, okay, so here's the thing. On knight d3, black could conceivably, again, just play knight e5. Thank you very much. All right. Really spicy. These knight endgames, man, so spicy. It's a little different this time on knight e5 because white can play f4 in that case. And we have ourselves a real mess. Knight e5, f4, knight d3, king d3, b4, e5. Takes. And then he's got maybe king b5. Oh my gosh. e6, king c6, king c4, king d6. Oh my god, black would be better in that case. But, and the problem is on knight e5, of course white could go back to knight b4. And Russians should always repeat the position. But if you play knight e5, knight c5, then black plays king a3, and we have improved the position because b4 is going to come. I don't know what else to play for black. You could dream about g5. Doesn't feel right really, but you could dream about it. As the song says, I can dream about you. Knight e5 certainly might lose, yeah. Okay, king a5, which is admitting that, I think it's admitting that things have gone wrong. Maybe, yeah, that's what it feels like. Maybe, well, okay, I have a little sympathy with this move. But king d4 now. King d4. By the way, yeah, you know what? I kind of blew this here. I need to share this game so that you guys can play Guess the Move over here on chess.com. Half Closed is checking it out. Sorry about that. In future installments of this fine program, we will have that available. So e5 is the, let's call it the natural move or whatever you want to call it. But there's no rush. He could even play g4. Like, right, white can wait until black moves the knight and then we play e5. It's still really super complicated. At this point, oh, it's a tricky position. At this point, I don't know. What are we thinking about? It probably should end up being a draw, but it's not going to be a draw. we all know it's not going to be a draw. We all know it. That's right, Bolsey Dosey. That's absolutely right. e5, the big decision. Pruess has always been a man's man when it comes to these kinds of positions. Is it correct? I have some doubts. I think Kostya has to take. I don't think there's any questions about that. Here we go. And now knight f8 is the move that scares me. Knight f8 is the move that scares me. This is very useful to me too because, I'm going to be playing some events coming up and more, knight f8, more and more games are just played with the increment, and I did not grow up playing with a 30-second increment, so it is its own, wild beast. So let's say the obvious. White has the slightly more active pieces, but black has the outside pass pawn. And it's going to be hard for white to avoid having to go over to take that pawn, in which case black will have the jump on the king side. Yeah, white needs a good move here. This is hard, man. This is hard business. I think white, man, I don't know. I mean, white is definitely worse now, my friends. E5 was E5 was a bold move. So what I'm thinking of is King D5, Knight E6 is going to come. Then you got to worry about Knight F4. And so you can play something like G3. Knight C7 check happens. King has to move off D5. I achieve King E6. And then we got to say black is better, right? Got to say. I can dream about you if I can't hold you tonight. Do 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 do. I know you guys love it when I sing. King C5, King E6, that's right. And the assumption I have is that King C5, King E6, Knight D3, Knight G6, King B5, Knight E5, that is probably winning for black. All right, so Knight D3, good. Now King, oh yeah, this is so spicy. Knight C5 is not a threat because we are winning. Black is always winning the endgame, or at least is not going to lose because of the outside pass pawn. Now Knight C7 check is that's the move I'd be terrified of. But there's other moves too, like you can throw in G5 because white isn't really doing anything. He's stuck. H5 might be the cold-blooded move to play. Problem is when you play G5, you gotta be a little careful because then white's king can potentially get to F5 once G5 is played. And Pruess is evil, dude. You might think Pruess is some nice guy. No, man, he'll try to mess with you. He will try to mess with you. I like Knight D3. I like it because it's putting good questions to what black's supposed to do here. I think he's got to go G5, H5. Yeah. I don't know, man. There's questions here. Maybe you could go just simply like G5, G3, H5, H4. But in that, like, oh, man. Yeah, I don't know, man. This one's rough. I can dream about you. Oh my God. That is played with the thought, maybe incorrect, that we're running white out of moves, right? So like H4, H5, G3, G6, and you white have to move. Now, is it that big of a deal? Maybe. Maybe. If Ghost is right, man, that would be a hardcore Zugzwang. A hardcore one. I don't know if it's true. So we're thinking about like G3. I mean, it might be true, man. H6 might have been a cold-blooded move. Oh, man. Yeah, Kostya thought for 2.5 minutes on H6. All right, I'm going to take a quick potty break. I got to get ready because they're going to come back. Actually, we can see them in this. Look at this. I haven't even been watching them. No, you guys have been watching them. There they are. Thinking hardcore, man. Thinking deep. All right, I'll be right back. I can dream about you. Well, there it is, my friends. H6, G3, G5, H4. Good moves. All right, I'll say the obvious. Now, with the dissipation of all those pawns, it probably will actually end up in a draw. It's going to be hard for it not to be a draw, my friends. Yeah, that's right, Foods Chess. Now that all those pawns are gone, it's going to be hard not to be a draw. Yep. Makes sense. No, I don't know if that makes sense. Oh, I don't know, Kostya. I don't know what you're doing, buddy. I don't know what you're doing. It's hard for me to imagine that you could actually lose, but yeah, I don't know, man. King F5. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, buddy. We got everybody guessing now. This guessing game's pretty cool. And now something like knight b4. And it should still be a draw, but Kostya's playing on the wild side here a little bit. Yeah, knight b4. There we go. I don't know, Kostya, buddy. I don't know. Well, I guess he does know, and it's just going to be a draw, like king g5 and knight f3 check to the miserable king. Now, Pruess is so competitive, even if it's a dead draw, he's not going to take it. For the purposes of our show, I think if it's a dead draw, he should take it. You know what I mean? You know? So, I don't know. So, maybe he might end up repeating, though. I could imagine a repeat with King E4 96 repeating. I can dream about you. Okay, guys, shake hands. Let's look at the game. I'm telling you, Pruess doesn't want no draw. Pruess don't want no draw. No. Yeah, we might get our draw here. Whoa, see, I told you guys. No draws. Good move, actually, knight c6. Good move. Make Kostya work for this. He wants to be. You want to be a GM, son? You better work harder than this. Woo. Oh yeah, good. Pruess is giving him a little bit of the business here. I have a feeling Kostya thought it was just going to be a dead draw. It still is a draw, but you know, Pruess, like I said, Pruess will make you work for it. I don't know, man. King. This Kostya might be getting a little chocolate on his face. Sorry, I said it, buddy. Don't clip that one. Sometimes just things come out of my mouth. Yeah. Well, good. He's thinking about King D5. He should, man. King D5, buddy. Start working him. Start working him. It's cold in here, man. I'm gonna need to put on my Rastafarian hat. King F4. Aw, boss, King D5, you were at least giving him something to think about. Now, well, King F4, he's trying to work Kostya really hard with some fancy business, but now you're allowing, oh, yeah, you're allowing King E6. No, there's still white's at least the one knocking. Now, I mean, this is nothing too. You could do a variety of things. You go knight d3 back, because King f5 b4. A variety of things can be played here. Even the gross-looking knight a6 you could play. I'm sure that's playable too. Yeah. King f4 was weird. Right, King e6, knight d4. King d5, knight takes b5, knight d3, king somewhere, knight takes pawn. Let's say king g5, knight takes pawn, king h5, knight f3, and everything goes off the board. People asking about knight e7. Maybe, I mean, king f7, and you're going to go back, and then, you know, knight d5, king. That's okay, good call. That's what he does. I mean, I don't know what else to do. And knight f5 is also a thought, in addition to knight d5. No. Just play knight d5. Hold the pawn back. And on knight d5, there's a lot of different moves for black. Knight a6 comes to mind even as a gross move to play. Now, some people might think that Pruess is going for a draw here, but he might. He's a fighter, dude. He might try to find some way to mess with him. Well, we might finally have our draw. All right, beautiful. Let's see. They'll come back, and what I'll do is I'll grab this, and then we can talk about it. Pretty good game, you guys. Pretty good game.
Oh, hello. GG.
GG.
What I'll do is I'm going to start an analysis board, and I'm going to load that PGN, and then I'm going to invite you guys to set analysis board, and then you guys can also move the pieces if you want. So we've got there Mr. Pruess, invite, and then we're going to invite hello Kostya. Okay. Cool. That was super intense, Charlie Silva. Let me just introduce the game to you guys. This is Larsen against Spassky, 1968. And it's funny, you know, and this, like I was telling the chat, all the end games I'm going to give you guys are, or most of them are going to be from this book, with the Shereshevsky book. And in this position, Spassky played rook cd8. Interesting move. I felt, and maybe this is just a hint at all of our common mediocrity, but I felt that after f6, black had a small advantage. So we all kind of felt the same there. But interestingly, I thought that the reason Spassky didn't do f6 was that he did not like rook cd1, which then you guys didn't play. Instead, but 92, well, we'll talk about 92 in a second.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'll tell you guys what, I'll just ask a first question, then you guys can take it away, do whatever you want with it. So knight d2, king e6, rook d3, why not f4? Or c4, excuse me.
C4. Yeah, good question. I think I was just focused on not trading the knights.
Well, right. I mean, we're not going to.
I didn't realize I get knight c5.
Right.
Yeah, I missed this too. I mean, I calculated that I could play rook d4 here and not lose a piece, but I didn't realize that this was a way to put the knight on c5 instead of d6. And in the position with the knight on d6, I was afraid black's plan would be c4, knight b7, knight c5.
Yeah.
Right. And I think it's close. It's close to gone here, right?
Wow.
I think. I mean, or at least white needs something amazing right now, because
white needs a good move. Yeah.
And just in general, I think black wants to play c4 anyway. So if we get it with tempo, it seems like we should do it.
Yeah. I mean, that's why. Yeah, I thought black was better in the first place. Yeah, that's really weird. I don't know why I just completely skipped over it. Yeah.
So, 96. And I think you guys were probably also a little nervous. Like, I noticed the first couple moves were played really quickly. And David, I chastised you in chat about this one, but I'm gonna let you explain your thinking. Which, you know, I could be wrong. I could be wrong about this. So.
Well, you can't chastise me for playing it too fast because I spent 4 minutes on that.
Fair enough.
You know, I just didn't really know what to do. I was very afraid of c4, knight b7, knight c5. So I didn't. That was, you know, what slightly dissuaded me from just playing a move like king e2, right? I mean, I'd like to play king e2. I'm sure you'd like me to play king e2. But I was afraid that he would play c4 and knight b7. I know we missed it last move, but I was kind of not wanting to let black lock that in. And I calculated some variations, which is maybe not the right approach to this kind of position, but I saw, I saw the position where I take over the C file and I've got the knight C5 idea, and it seemed plausible to me. It was against my instincts to be doing stuff on the queen side.
Good. I think that's correct. Yeah.
My first instinct was to play like E4, f4 and try and make it not totally comfortable for black to have their king in the center. Because like right now, that's partly black's advantage that their king's more active. But I feel with 2 rooks and a knight, and we had this endgame in the classical tournament last week. So if Seth's out there, he'll recognize this comment. But I said with this exact piece balance, I feel like the king can be an asset and a weakness, like sort of at the same time or back and forth. So I kind of wanted to play e4, f4 to mess with the king. Was my first instinct, and I didn't think it really did anything. So then my second instinct was just to play like king e2. But I was so spooked about black locking in like a knight on c5 that I went for a concrete variation that doesn't quite allow that.
Okay. Yeah, I think your first intuition, e4, for sure. Because check it out, your rook can swing.
Right. I saw that. Right. Yeah, I looked at that, and c4, I played rook g3 in my head. And then, I thought of g6 and rook e7. I didn't even really care which. I just got really depressed here for some reason. Like, am I really playing f4 now? What am I?
Yeah, or king e2 first, I mean, you're right, though. You got to start some drama over there.
Right. And then another thing from the Shershevsky book is he says in these positions where one person has where they've got the split majorities, and so each person has a different semi-open file. He said that control of the D file is very important often.
Right. Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm going to send my rook over here to like tickle a pawn. Like, I've had a lot of games, Jesse, where I lifted a rook for a mating attack in the middle game. And then my opponent simplified out of the attack, right? And then we get to the end game and my rook was misplaced on g3 or h3.
Right.
And I have to try and like bring it back into the center. So I was very, very nervous about this just being like totally the wrong direction.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. So just on principled grounds, it seemed wrong to me. But then let's look at the concrete situation. So B3 was your intention. And right, on principle grounds, I feel like you're just helping Kostya create all the engine on the queenside. Now, so I thought here Kostya had 2 options, King D5 and CB.
Yeah.
And King D5 is certainly the more natural move, right? Like, it's hard for me to imagine White's going to live through that one.
Yeah, I was trying to choose between both here. I guess I felt like, I missed some stuff, so that's why I went for CB3. But King D5 was my backup option, and I felt like I'm just maintaining the edge here. And I never know whether I should take or keep the tension, because I felt like, like taking on B3, that's exactly what I'm looking for, is just some position where I can get knight C4 and like go after the A pawn. And I felt like even any kind of outside pass pawn endgame should be at least good chances. So I feel like, well, since I can get that right now, I might as well just take it.
Okay. Was there something you missed? What was it that you missed on CB?
Yeah. So takes, knight takes, I think, right. So originally I wanted to take, which I did, and I wanted to go knight C4. And then check, take, and then when I was like double checking, I realized there's rook D3.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't figure it out here because there was like knight C5, rook D7 coming.
Yeah.
So that started to look really unclear. And if I go king C6, then knight B4, knight C2.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I think I spent some time, and then I ended up playing rook A8. So not really what I wanted to do. Yeah, had I chose between, well, I might not have even, because I don't have to trade. I can also play knight C4 here.
Right.
So I wish I had at least gone for this.
Yeah.
Because I thought here, I'm not threatening to take yet, but like I can build up, I can improve.
Yeah. It's hard for me to believe that you're gonna win this thing though. Like king E2, and then he's threatening knight A5. You know?
On knight a5, he can retreat his knight to d6 in general, right?
Right. But, you know, if you spank the knight into c6 after, for example,
okay.
Road.
Right. If I keep some more pieces on the board.
Okay.
So, in that king d5 line that you were saying, Jesse, as the big alternative to taking on b3, I thought rook to d1, and then like king c5, pawn takes pawn, and then just the rook goes from d1 to c1 to b1 to d1 to c1 to b1, and I didn't see a way for black to avoid repetition here.
Oh.
And then rook b1.
Yeah. Maybe I missed something, but that was what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm. So I went a little fast too. So in this position, I have...
Same thing with knight c4. I would trade the knight and then do the same. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, right? But my plan was to trade the knight and do the same rook c1 and then b1, d1, whichever way the king goes.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. I didn't think about it. So rook d1. King d5, rook d1. Maybe. Wait a second. Wait, do I understand this? Okay. Boom. Let me see if I understand this. Boom, boom, boom. 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 Check to the mystical king. And king a5 here.
Yeah, or maybe even rook b4 on that move, but the general idea was rook c1.
Rook
so let's play rook c1 for now.
Huh, okay. No, maybe it's true. Maybe it's true.
I mean, unfortunately, I calculated a bunch of variations, which always have some hole in them. It's very hard for me to choose whether to go with my calculations or my instinct, because my instinct was like, don't touch the queenside.
So here maybe the pro move is rook c6. Or c7 maybe, because I don't want to allow knight f3. Or maybe...
I can't just take the pawn then?
Yeah, but I'm going to pin you.
Oh, you got... See, I missed something.
Okay, rook c5.
Rook c5 might be the move, right?
Oh, man.
Because actually, I was thinking about this during the game, but then I also didn't like rook c6 was my first thought, and then I didn't like bc and then c5. But now rook c5 kind of solves both.
Well, we can also take it, Kostya. We can do this.
You can take it with the b pawn, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Either way. I missed this completely.
Yeah. That's, I mean, probably winning, right? Probably winning.
But I'm not totally sure, like, if I just goes king e2.
And you may not even need to play rook c8, right? If you've still got me in that trick.
I can play rook b8 maybe, yeah. There might be king
but then,
b3.
What's the plan from here? Because, like, white just sits. Yeah.
Well, okay. First of all, king d5 is available for us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Rook b8 probably. Well, actually, that's complicated. I'm not sure about rook b8.
Yeah. Let's try king d5 to try to play rook b8 for black.
Well, okay, then you're going to do your rook d1 thing.
Oh, yeah, my rook d1 thing. Stay back.
King c6 and then back, right?
Yeah.
So that was why I didn't play king d5.
Gotcha. I'm really feeling underneath this c4 pawn, but...
Why don't I do it this way? I mean, maybe it's just the same. You play king e2. And what do I got?
So if you've got a pawn on c4, Jesse, and I'm just kind of stuck here behind the c pawn, can I play like e4, king e3, or should I just try to touch nothing?
If I give you time, yeah, that's what you should do. You know?
Yeah.
I guess why I can't just muck about.
What about taking on c4 here with the knight, and then with one rook, and then with the pawn? Just to get like single rook endgame, then like get like king d5 in, and then try to activate the rook like that?
Totally possible. I don't know if it's enough, but yeah, you could think about doing it that way. You want to play this, right, Kostya? That's what you're saying?
Yeah, I was thinking like during the game, if I got this endgame, I would be pretty happy actually. Because then the rook I feel like is freed up. I don't know. I mean, maybe white defends.
I don't know if we got enough.
Yeah, e4. I would play, I guess,
King
here.
D6.
Yeah.
Something like that. Rook d8.
Yeah, rook b8 or rook d8. This one.
Yeah, maybe that one. Okay, something like But yeah, let's say this, that if we get this position, that knight c4 would be the way to at least maintain a minor edge, at least. And I think David and I are all, at least for me, I see these passive rooks, it's like white deserves death. That's what he deserves in my mind for doing these crimes.
I deserved it. I deserved it.
I don't know if he deserved it. He didn't ask for this position.
Okay.
But I played b3.
I thought b3 was, I mean, I don't know. I would have done the same probably as white.
Okay, here was the thing I was very certain about. Okay, so obviously king d7 you missed. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. You didn't. Did you miss?
No, king d7 I came up with on David's turn. But
you saw rook a6 happening.
Yeah, I wanted the knight endgame because here I felt if I go king d5, there's rook c5.
Yeah,
and I thought I have to just repeat if I don't want to get mated. And other than that, I guess I could go a5 was my other option.
Yeah.
I think I thought a5 was okay, but then I felt like, I don't know, I actually thought the knight endgame was maybe tricky for white. Like I couldn't fully calculate it, but
okay,
maybe I was wrong.
Okay, no. Well, let's check. I think right because to me, I think a5 you at least are the one who, if anything, you're a little bit better. And on king d7, I didn't think you had enough, and we'll see. Maybe you had more chances than originally I had thought.
I was very scared because I had sort of not seen the king coming to a4 so fast. I hadn't planned for it to be this like this. I was scared.
I thought you were holding this, David. I thought like yes, he's got the outside pawn, but your king is just better, at least for the moment. He's going to have to do something, which he ends up trying, to get his king out.
Yeah.
I thought and honestly, I was like, maybe dude should. I thought maybe Kostya should have even tried to force a draw here with b4, like this,
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't thinking about a draw.
Okay. No,
I thought king e2 by the way it was very.
But I would play king d5 in that position, right? There's a safer draw checking on a different square.
Okay. So Kostya thinks he's better. Let's see it. So 95. That was spicy.
Yeah, I was definitely still looking for some chances here. I mean, I don't know. I thought outside pass pawn. Like.
I thought, I from a practical point of view, I thought this could be anybody's game here, right? because David's king is better. It's like it's in there, man.
Honestly, I never felt like I was in danger actually.
If you were going to go for it, Kostya, maybe knight g6 or h5 here.
Yeah, I thought
So
he would
G6,
play.
I was thinking g3.
I thought he would play h5.
Yeah,
h5. Yeah, I just wasn't sure. More or less. I guess f4 for white.
Then knight g6.
Yeah, knight g6.
Oh, and h. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
and I have a problem.
I see. So then maybe g3.
And I have no idea what's happening, but knight f3 would be the idea, right?
I was definitely worried about this position.
Yeah, I mean, I think I basically got, definitely nothing. So this definitely looks better.
Okay, so let's say even here, black. So let's honor Kostya's intuition, because really you're following the same intuition when you play CB and when you're playing, you're allowing rook a6, which is you're just aiming for the outside pass pawn here. And then I do.
My understanding, Jesse, is that like this is one of the more dangerous scenarios possible for me. A knight endgame with the outside pass pawn.
You do have
and the
the
black
king, though, and
position.
you are going to get your own pass pawn. You are going to get your own pass pawn. I think it's going to be dangerous for more than one person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I mean, there are definitely ways I thought it could go wrong. So it's not like I felt like I could just do anything in the position.
Is there any world where I should play f5
Maybe,
and then prepare to run my knight to g7 and like my king's just going to go to b2 and try and slow things down?
But let's say, imagine this position, right?
Because g3 knight f3 I get blockaded and he can attack my guys. You can play h4. You can play knight g1.
I mean, I was thinking, David, that the b pawn is just very strong. Like I have b4, knight comes to c4, b3, king a3, and then like basically promoting already.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what's going on. Like g3, knight f3, let's say h4. I don't know. I mean, I think it's
g5.
What's that?
G5
maybe. But we're gonna knock too, right? Knight d5.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. So basically, it's going like here, 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 and then the king can come to b2 still.
Right. Which is why if black ever wants the tempo, maybe something like king a3 earlier rather than later, so that I don't have king b2. Right.
Honestly, king e3, king a3 here doesn't. I don't even know if this game is over. Like.
Yeah, king e3 here is kind of interesting too, with the idea, right? If knight d5, knight f3.
Then yeah, h pawn starts.
But it's still a little bit hard to believe, like king d3,
h4, king e2,
or e3. Right. Pretty spice. King e2 might be safer. I just didn't want to get checked in some weird way.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted another route.
That's right. Another route.
Queen.
Yeah, make it another route.
One more option.
Okay. So this was pretty. I liked, and here, David, I felt like e5 was like, I don't know. I was channeling my sense of who you are. Like you're bullying Kostya here, man. You're bullying him with all these squares.
I thought that if by some miracle white could play for a win, let's say the position's probably close to equal at this point.
Yeah.
In my guesstimate at this point.
Yeah.
if I were playing like a much weaker player, I could keep more tension in the position by playing G4, H4, and like waiting for more mistakes. But it does let the black king come over to D6 and E6. So I felt like it's right to take away that square and control as much of the center as I can.
Yeah, I think G4, H4, I think you're still fine. You're still fine. Yeah, I just think your better king means you're not going to lose this thing.
Yeah, I thought white was totally fine here, but I also didn't feel like I was in danger if I don't do anything silly.
Right. Yeah, okay, and then after this we got to
draw, right?
It's a draw, yeah. Okay, cool, guys. Let me show you. I'll show you everybody the game in which this thing comes from, and just get a sense. Totally different things go down. Totally different things go down. And we'll start from. This is the position. Rook D5. Rook CD8. So again, it's funny. I have a student who's 1600, chess.com, and he also, maybe because he knows me, he's like, F6 has got to be the right move to dominate the knight. And that was definitely, I feel like black is, well, I think we all agree, like black is a little bit better after F6. And against my student, I played this move, and he just traded off the rooks.
Mm-hmm.
And black is definitely still better. It went like boom, boom, and I got a little frisky here, and I think I should have played knight d2, in which case I think it's what white is holding in our analysis. But black doesn't even necessarily have to trade either.
If black trades, what's the evaluation?
During the game, I thought black was better, but after the game, it was a draw. At least that was my analysis.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, but I'll show you this game. So Spassky plays this one. And I don't think Larsen's move is bad, but it's frisky. He plays rook h5, h6, b4, getting frisky, like Pruess. Getting frisky over there.
Wow.
I mean, he's got to justify the rook on h5, or it's just bad, right?
Well, okay. So in this,
like to me, rook h5 looks terrible.
It's doing something. It's doing something. I was looking at stuff in my analysis of like rook e5 and takes, and then you can put the knight on d4. So this position, I think, is still fine. For white, which is why I came back and I was like, wait a second, that first position has to be better for black, and I was like F6. This is too frisky, and now Spassky plays a great combo here. Check this out: King F6, AB, G6.
He's mating the rook.
Well, how could this happen to the rook on h5?
Check to the miserable king, and I think it's over.
Uh-oh. Get back into the corner where you came from.
D4.
Oh.
Look at that one, rook e4, buddy.
What?
Wow, double attack, king g7?
King g7!
Sorry, bro.
Sick.
And then the game's over in a couple moves, yeah.
Dude.
Yeah,
you think Larsen still put his rook on h5 the next time? Oh my lord!
The rook on h5, though, I mean, it's definitely frisky. I don't think it was necessarily wrong,
So where should he improve there? Not play b4? Like what's it gonna do if it just chills for a bit?
So we got. I don't think b4 itself is wrong because you are gaining the square.
Okay.
Right. And the rook does do stuff over there because it's like one of Black's main ideas would be A5, and we're preventing that at least, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought Rook E5 or King E2, maybe even Knight D4 directly. Knight D4 directly is a little weird because we're allowing.
So you're saying maybe Rook E5, trade a rook, King on E2, and hang in there?
It seems like Black should still be, White should still be okay. Maybe just King E, yeah, King E2 directly scares me a little bit because maybe F6, but yeah.
But compared to what I did, this looks even worse because that C4 pawn is just like locked in. The queenside is grim.
But the pieces are all still on the board. We are going to get the D4, the Knight to D4.
Uh-huh.
You know, like let's say check. And I think when I was looking at this, you have to go to F8 because if you go to F6, I can take the D file. Right?
Okay.
That was my sensing. Snip, snip, King E2.
Mm-hmm. Is it Rook D3? Should I go Knight D4 first?
Okay, Knight D4, good move. Yeah, Knight D4 first. Yeah, I think White's going to be okay. He's going to be all right.
Yeah, I never know about these positions. I guess I would go like Knight D6 and A5 as Black. But we got to watch out like Knight C6 stuff, so maybe even Rook A8 first.
Yeah. You're still not really threatening anything yet, though, right?
Yeah, Knight D6.
As Pruess said, don't give up the D file. Don't give up the D file.
It's, okay, A5.
He's going to do some GM thing.
Yeah. Well, I want to learn. So it would go so go 94.
Nice.
Where you going, boss? What are you doing?
I'm gonna go to D5 maybe. Okay, but then here I'll play. I want to do this one.
Good idea.
Are you threatening, like, you know, what's your idea?
Yeah, now I want to go like Rook A2.
I think Rook A6 might be good for you too, Kostya.
Oh, Rook A6.
Then you move your king to G6, and then play Knight A2 finally.
Yeah.
I think Black has to start watching out. Because now I'm gonna go. You gotta watch out for this business.
You've also got maybe Rook A3 here.
A3 also looks annoying.
At the moment.
Yeah, maybe I would play that one. Okay, don't want to get mated. This. You have to take.
Well, white doesn't seem to be in any danger, right? With a nice centralized unit.
Yeah, I think I'm okay.
I say I never know.
What's that?
I'm still in the dark. I don't know. I just like, for me, it probably all three results still possible.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, cool. Let's end it there. I think my intention was to do like kind of just exactly the way we did, an hour and a half. You know, so we play a game, we analyze it, and then I'll show you the original game. So again, this was Spassky, or excuse me, Larsen-Spassky, 1968. And if people dig it, we'll do another one next Friday, right?
Yeah, this was fun. I hope people liked it.
Yeah. Okay, cool, guys. I'll end it there, and